inspired by Russell Brand, who I respect very much.
You lost respect for him. Why did you lose it and then regain respect for Russell Brand?
And then lost it again. No, I'll always respect Russell Brand. I'll always respect Russell Brand. He's a phenomenal guy. He's so in tune with spirituality. I think for someone of his background to just come through and understand reality in the way I see it, as the more accurate way than most, I think is just phenomenal. I just find him inspiring to when he speaks. So anyway, so I saw a video of his, and it was on. It was a kind of a load. Well, you saw it. It was a kind of chopped up bits of him talking about spirituality and love and all of these things and consciousness, and I found it inspiring. So I used it, as I often do, his bits as an inspiration for our discussion evenings. So I have so much respect for him because he just understands. From my point of view, obviously, I can't say what's right and wrong, but from what I consider to be more right than wrong, I think he's totally spot on with spirituality, with his kind of agenda of the people first and the kind of socialism type stuff. If you like that sort of kind of lefty kind of that his whole slant and everything is so spot on. Everything he says pretty much is word for word what I believe, and I respected him so much for saying don't vote because the system is just so flawed that if you vote, this is the way I would put it, if you vote, you're basically endorsing the system.
But if you were to choose.
So I really respected him for that, and I think he was totally spot on. But see, I then really lost respect when he said, well, now we must go Labour, and now we must actually vote, and we've got to go with that one because that one's better or less bad than the other one. In that case, at that time, it was Miliband.
Was it Miliband?
At the time that he did that, it was Miliband.
Okay,
he met with
Miliband.
That
for Miliband.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't Corbyn, and again, I don't want to.
Would you forgive him if it was Corbyn?
No, of course not.
Do you not think Corbyn is so much less bad?
I don't want to comment on individuals. I'm non-partisan, and so that means really not being pro or against anyone.
Being non-partisan, can't you comment on an individual such as Corbyn, taking his
I don't know him
his label away from? What do you make of him from what you've seen?
So I don't know him. He's got a beard.
He must be alright. He rides a bike.
I don't know enough. I'm sure he is a fantastic guy, Corbyn. I've got to say, I know you're a Corbyn fan.
I am a Corbyn fan, but I'm a David Icke fan.
Right.
And David Icke says what Russell Brand said originally: don't vote. You're endorsing the system.
Right. Does he say that? Right. Great minds think alike. Yeah.
And
so I'm not an Icke fan, and I say the same thing.
But you're on the same page as him.
On the same page,
that. On that.
And is he now a Corbyn fan? Is he? Or he's also right.
Always,
so I'm in league with David Icke.
Great. You're on the same page as David Icke.
So my views.
Which type of lizard do you think Jeremy Corbyn is?
Well, I think he's more 11 foot rather than 12 foot. From my point of view, the ills of the world are much, much greater than, as Russell Brand used to say before I lost a bit of respect for him, and he then became partisan, as he used to say, the problems of the world can't be fixed by a little bit of a shuffle to the left or a shuffle to the right. I think he said that in his interview after The Emperor's New Clothes. Russell Brand said that, after The Emperor's New Clothes, I think he was questioned and he said that. I thought he was spot on. So therefore, I'm non-partisan in that way. But anyway, to answer your question, Corbyn, yes, he might be a more refreshing shift to the left, and that's great. And actually, as a guy, he's just really likeable. Mm-hmm. You hear him speak, and he's just not your typical mould, and all of those things are good. And I'm sure as a guy, he's a absolutely, fantastic guy, and his views, his what he teaches is probably not he teaches. His manifesto and all the rest of it is much more in keeping with what I think. But having said that, I also think, Theresa May as a person is a good person.
Yeah, as a person, I'm sure she is a good person,
and she does good things.
I disagree with her politics or whatever, but I wouldn't want to ridicule her or insult her or anything.
I wouldn't like to ridicule or insult any politician, and I really respect them. They're doing a hard job, but they're not paid a lot of money. We forget that politicians are not paid, I think, enough money for the job that they do. I know that it's not going to be a popular view.
Some of them make a lot of money from other
revolving door afterwards.
Of
course,
that's another part.
There is that as well. Yeah, absolutely.
But her as an individual, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, so in that way, I can only say good things about. I look for the good in everyone, but it's more of a system to me than an individual. And so, yes, is he less bad than others? Yes, absolutely, I would say. But the whole Brexit thing, that's a whole other thing. And again, it's irrelevant what I think about it, but. Politics is a bit of a mess.